Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tom Zuba, and I wrote a book. My book is called Permission to Mourn, A New Way to Do Grief. If you are finding me live, I'm thrilled that you're here. If you stumble upon the recording of this, I don't believe in coincidences. So my hope is that something that we share today touches you, that it touches your heart in a really, really profound way. So it's Christmas Eve, and I know that that can be really, really complicated for many, many, many people. And there are certainly additional layers of complication this year. That's, to put it mildly, and that is an understatement. If you don't know, I am living with the death of two of my children and my wife. So I know a thing or two about grief. I promise you, I know a thing or two about grief. And one of the things I learned the hard way, and one of the reasons I wrote this book, is that we consciously or subconsciously choose literally what it is we are creating in our lives. And if you're like me, you created from a subconscious level. And it's quite possible, probable, that you're creating from a subconscious level today, Christmas Eve. So this is one of the things I've learned, that what I focus on expands. What I focus on expands. I can choose, again, for a lot of us, it's on a subconscious level. I can choose to marinate, to roll around in lack, not enough, isolation, disappointment, not the way I thought it was going to be. I can choose to do that. Is there anything wrong with that? There isn't. I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything wrong with making the choice to marinate in lack. But what I want to assure you is that if you do make that choice, that is what you're going to create more of. You will create more and more and more of lack, of less than, of isolation, of loneliness. And my question is, why? Why would you do that? I quote Eckhart Tolle in the intro of my first book. Eckhart wrote a book called The Power of Now. These words woke me up. These words pissed me off. These words challenged me, and these words were instrumental in helping me transform. The fact is that you are resisting what is. Many of us on December 24th, 2020 are resisting what is. You are making the present moment into an enemy. You are making the present moment into an enemy. That's painful. That's painful, to be living a life where every single breath you take, every single moment that you're alive, you're dealing with the enemy. So the question is, how do we lay down our weapons? How do we lay down our weapons? And how do we choose something else? That's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to bring my co-host Jessica in a minute. And then at about 11:30 Central, I'm really, really excited to once again have a conversation with my friend, Rachel Pearson. And we're going to talk about Christmas, Christmas Eve, the closing of 2020, the opening of 2021 from a spiritual perspective. What does the other side have to offer us regarding these really, really, really significant milestones in our lives? So I'm going to bring Jessica on. Hey, Jessica.
Hello.
You are, there you go.
There we go. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Happy Christmas Eve.
I'm excited. I am genuinely excited.
I am too. Your Christmas mug.
And
Cheers.
you know what? And I'm proud of a lot of us who are traveling this journey together and who have made different decisions. I'm gonna light this candle because one of the things that I'm aware of, and I know that you're aware of too, is that we do have a choice as to what we focus on, particularly if we think we don't have a choice. We do. We do have a choice on what we focus on. And when we realize that what we focus on, I'll speak in I statements, when I realized that what I was focusing on was actually expanding, I decided to focus on that which I wanted more of in my life. And I think we can all do this.
Absolutely.
We can focus on light. We can focus on light. This is the season, no matter what you believe, this is the season of the light returning. In the Northern Hemisphere, the days are getting longer. There are these two planets up in the sky that we can still see.
Yes.
That are emitting this light that we haven't seen in, I don't know, 600 years?
And it is powerful.
I haven't been able to see it yet.
Why is that? Has it not been clear?
Correct.
The skies? Yeah.
Yeah. It's been overcast.
Oh, okay.
And then for me personally, and this is a choice that I've made, I know it. I am so excited about the presence of the 2 vaccinations now. So whenever I see a news story or when I see a friend of mine on Facebook or something in the newspaper and someone's getting their shot, to me, that's the light returning. Returning. So I'm consciously choosing to focus on light.
And what we focus on, we attract more of.
Yes.
That's my belief. Yes.
Yeah, it's my belief too that we're not victims. I mean, understandably so, there's an energy of victimhood swirling planet Earth.
Yeah.
And it's painful.
It is painful. Yes. I just had a conversation earlier about the holidays are just hard. And I fell into that. Yeah, they are with family dynamics, but also right after I finished that conversation, I thought, oh, and I'm going to revisit it later, but it doesn't have to be that way. But if that's the mantra, oh, holidays are hard. Just got to get through, white knuckle it, got to get through the holidays. And that's what we're going to experience. And I've done that and it's not fun.
I have done that too. And I think that the coronavirus literally gives us permission to say, no,
Gonna do
No,
it differently.
no,
Yeah.
no. Sorry, not this year. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's
Right.
freedom.
It
And
is.
it also gives us permission to say, I think maybe I'm going to sleep in this afternoon. Or, on Amazon, there is that special something that's really, really lights me up. I think I'm going to gift myself with that. I'm going to say yes to that.
Yes.
So we can do it consciously, or we can do it from a subconscious level.
Absolutely.
Now, I
But I want to
know
do it consciously. I want to be awake. I have been on autopilot in the past. Didn't even realize that that's what it was, that I wasn't feeling. It was too painful to feel. So I was on autopilot, not even knowing.
I think most people live their lives on autopilot. As soon as a feeling or emotion, starts to creep up,
Yeah.
glass of wine, Xanax, turn on the television, crank up the music, eat.
FaceTime or Facebook. Yep, gotta scroll. I gotta see what other people are doing because I don't want to feel it. It's too much. I don't want to feel it.
Yeah.
Which is okay, isn't it? It's okay to do that, but to be aware, oh, this is what I'm actually doing. I don't want to feel it, so I'm reaching to other things to escape because I don't want to feel.
And a great question to ask is, what actually is it that I'm afraid of?
Yeah.
What am I afraid of feeling? What do I think might happen?
Yes. Sadness. Yeah. Oh, hold on one second.
It's snowing, Mother.
Hey, buddy. Sorry.
What did she say?
Oh, hold on. I have a visitor.
Oh,
I'm going to mute it. Okay.
that's okay. So what I've discovered is that most people are hesitant to actually be with themselves because they are afraid that if they really, really encounter themselves, they'll discover that they don't like who they are, that they've bought into this notion that they are unworthy, they are less than, they are not deserving. So most people are actually afraid of encountering up close and personal who they really, really, really are. That's part of the reason why I wrote my third book. I'm excited about getting that out there to you. So, is it snowing by you?
Well, it's so funny. So we've been at my parents' farm, which is like 15 minutes away, and there's no snow there. I just came home today, and we have snow, and it turned really, really cold. So we have a little bit of snow. I mean, it's not, but it's technically, I think it'll be a white Christmas. So
Yeah,
that's how I'm choosing to look at these little patches of snow in my yard. It's going to be a white Christmas.
That's what we call a shift in perception.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, have your plans for how you're going to spend Christmas, have they changed as a result of the virus?
Yeah, so this evening, normally we would do a big family party with extended friends that have become family, but we're not doing that. Some of them think that they've been exposed. And so they're being cautious and staying away until they find out. So we're not really going to do that. And Lily and I are going to have a quiet Christmas this year, just the two of us in our new home, which is where she wants to, that was her decision. She wanted to spend Christmas here, which is different for family, right? So then we have to kind of say, well, this is what feels good for us, but we spent time here. We'll do things later. So it's a new tradition.
And as the mom, how are you feeling about that?
Well, as the mom, I'm proud of Lily for saying what she wants, and it feels good to me too. But I'm also a people pleaser, and I don't want to let other people down. I don't want other people to feel excluded or, to not, to be sad because we're not going to be part of the Christmas morning experience with them. We'll have it later in the day.
And how's that people pleaser thingy working for you?
Oh, it causes me not so much, it's a lot of like grief and it feels icky, but I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to take care of me and Lily and then manage everybody else's kind of disappointment.
Well, and the truth is, awareness of that is the first step.
Yeah.
Does this ring true to you, or what's your gut response to this? You're not able to disappoint anyone without their consent and permission.
It's very true. It's very true. Yeah.
Something to think about. It's an agreement. It's a two-way agreement that.
Right. Yeah, it is a different way of looking at it.
So I want to switch a little bit, because as we were saying, what we focus on expands. What we put our attention on, we're going to grow more of. I have these cards. I just got them. They're called Messages from the Light. Messages from the Light. And I'm going to shuffle them. I'm going to pick a card, and my intention is this card is going to be a theme or a message or a direction that I'm going to focus on through the rest of today and throughout Christmas Day. So I'm going to look at this as this is a gift from the universe to me to help me color the Christmas Eve and the Christmas Day of 2020. Oh, I love this. I love this. Can you see it?
I can. Oh, are those hands? They
can
look
you see
like
the
they're
can,
hands.
can you see the word?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. No, they're people. They're people. I interpret that as that's the light. That's the light. And it's like this, there's a, it kind of reminds me of an outdoor playground, and people are climbing on it.
Yeah.
I have this little book, and I'm going to look up curiosity and just kind of get a deeper sense of their interpretation. Okay, curiosity. The same thing that eludes us all links us all. Curiosity leads to understanding. Follow your interest. Find common ground with people of all backgrounds. Wow.
Love that.
Find common ground with people of all backgrounds.
Isn't that so perfect? Because the holiday season is different for so many of us, right? What's meaningful for me about Christmas might be a completely different interpretation for somebody else.
And for those people that are attracted to our message, those people that are living with grief, regardless of the source, the seed of the grief, for too long, I believe that the exterior message has been, you don't understand me. I'm different from you. Mine isn't the same as yours. I literally had someone tell me the other day, well, you have a living child, so your situation isn't as painful or isn't as horrible as mine. I mean, my immediate thought was, what is to be gained by comparing? What is to be gained by comparing? But then I kind of went to, well, wait a second. I don't know anything about you, but let me tell you something about me. I have literally purchased 3 caskets.
Yeah.
I have literally purchased 3 burial plots. I have literally said to the nurse, not once, but twice, sure, go ahead and take them off the ventilator.
Yeah.
So yes, I do have a living son. I do. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything.
Yeah. But isn't that so? I mean, I'll be really honest. I was that person in the very beginning. I was hurting so much. I thought, my grief, but you don't know my grief. My grief is the worst, or, my journey and everything that Olivia went through. But that I don't know where that person is in their journey, but I think of like, those are in the early days when you can't see past anybody else's story because you're in such pain,
But I don't believe it has to be that way.
No, absolutely.
That's the story that we tell everybody over and over and over and over again, regardless of whether or not you're actually living with the death. So when it's your turn, which it will be, we immediately just kind of hop on that train. I mean, pull 100 people together and ask them to rank which death is the worst. They'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
So it's I like this, find common ground with people of all backgrounds.
I love that.
I've come to experience firsthand that when we're in a safe, sacred space, when we're honest and vulnerable and visible, what we realize is we have so much more in common.
So much more. When we can let our guard down and just be honest with the good, with the bad, with all of it, the messy bits that most of us don't want to share with the world. But that's the human experience.
To me, there is something so comforting in someone else saying, well, you know what? I was in my car and I thought many times, ooh, and then I could end it.
Yeah.
That's comforting to me.
It is. Yes.
Or when someone says, yeah, I prayed and prayed and prayed that I wouldn't wake up the next day.
Yeah. That is real. That is real. And knowing that you will listen to it, you're going to receive it, and you can say, me too, or I get it. I get it. But it takes so much strength and courage to be that vulnerable. It really does. So when I hear someone telling their story, it just makes my heart blow wide open. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm proud of that person because they are being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Versus this is what the world wants to see. I've got to put it on Facebook or social media that I got it all together. My kids, my husband, my spouse, my house, my car. We're all a work in progress. And if we can just show up and be really transparent and vulnerable, it allows someone else, if they're willing, to experience grace and to be able to be vulnerable too.
My word's curiosity. I know you have 2 decks. Pick one. Pick one. Which one is speaking to you?
I love this one, the spirit animal, which is so funny because I've been gifted with 2 in the last 3 months, and I've never ever. So I'm going to.
I love spirit animals.
Me too. I've been seeing a lot of swans lately. No coincidences. In Illinois. Okay. Oh, turkey spirit. Give with gratitude and grace. So here, and then I'm going to read.
Say that again.
So the turkey spirit, give with gratitude and grace. Okay. I'm going to read more on that. giving with gratitude and grace. How perfect. Slow and steady. Oh, wait, that's 62. That's my turtle. Oracle message. Turkey spirit message for you is that you always have the potential for manifesting a rich reality. For the turkey represents generosity and a celebration of abundance through giving to others. Give freely without expectation and you shall receive, for the manifestation of abundance is happening right now for you. Align with it by sharing your good.
I love that. I love that.
I do too.
This is the truth for everybody out there listening. Identify what it is you want from the world, from your friends, from your family this holiday season. I want a text. I want a special phone call. I want someone to drop cookies off at my front door. I want a beautiful card. Identify what you want. Give that to somebody else. Give that to somebody else, because I promise you, there is someone in your circle that is just yearning, aching, hungering for that. And when you are the giver, you receive tenfold. I know that sounds Pollyanna-ish and like it's a cliche, but for me, it's been the truth.
Absolutely. To be able to give, it's so incredibly rewarding. We have been the recipient, my family, and when Olivia was still with us, of so much love and gifts. Olivia's last Christmas with us in her physical body, 2016 Christmas, we were the recipients of all this love. This family that we were with in New York, they adopted us for their family. We were gifted with toys and clothes, and it was incredible. And I didn't even know if we were going to be able to be home in time for the holidays, so I didn't do any shopping. I thought we were still going to be in the hospital because she had just had this big surgery. Point of all of that is I was able to give a lot back this Christmas. There was a fundraiser, and I got to take everybody's money that they donated and find out what the kids wanted and shop for them. And everybody was thanking me. And I thought, I am so grateful for this experience. It helps me heal. It feels really, really good. And also to be able to connect with those families and say, if you'll allow me to do this, us to do this, because I've been on the receiving end. It's humble, it's very, very humbling, but to be able to say that to somebody, we've been gifted with so much. Please take this because there's so much love behind it. It feels so good.
To me, that's an example of continuing to take the next step. Take the next step, take the next step. I mean, after Olivia died, you could have stopped. And many people do, and I understand it. But you took the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step until you got to the point where you were the one who was able to say, let me be of service, let me be of service, let me return the favor. Let me return the favor. So that's another message for folks this holiday season. Take the next step. Take the next step. Okay, so our gifts from the universe are gratitude, grace, and curiosity. And with those three gifts, I'm going to bring my friend, your friend, Rachel Pearson, into the circle. Hi, Rachel. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Jessica. It's nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you as well.
I'm sorry. I think I have this playing in another browser because I'm hearing it. Just 1 second.
Okay. It's nice to see you on Christmas Eve. Thank you for making time with us. Technical difficulties, I always say, just like on CNN and MSNBC.
Not sure which one I need to X out. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're okay.
Oh, good. I get the right.
Are we good?
Merry Christmas to both of you. Cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you.
So I am curious, as a result of the virus, have your holiday plans changed this year? And if so, how?
You know, Tom, for me and my family personally, they haven't, because we have been away from family for so long. So we are blessed to just do what we typically do, and our children are home with us, and so it really hasn't changed. 5 years ago, after Perry had died, it changed drastically, and this year I kind of feel like this is, for me personally, the best Christmas yet, the best season yet. And if anything, I feel like maybe the world is joining me a little bit and how we have been doing Christmas a little more isolated over the past 5 years.
So going into this holiday season, Perry passed away 5 years ago.
Yes,
So you would say this is your best holiday season yet.
yes, yes, it is, for sure.
What would you attribute that to? Is there anything specific?
To healing, to healing, definitely just continuing to heal and continuing to stay curious about what I need to release. And yeah, that just brought me to this place.
So you, like me, like Jessica, you believe that healing actually is possible.
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on today. I'm really, really curious about what the other side, that which is beyond the veil. I don't even know. My language is so limiting, but here on earth, this is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow is Christmas. There many people are going to celebrate and mark the birth of this person named Jesus. What, if any, impact does that have on the other side?
Gosh, that's such an interesting question, Tom. And when you invited me to talk about this, I just put it out there, and ask and you shall receive, right? I've received a lot. I'm not sure what speaks to your question directly about the impact it has on them. I usually receive from their perspective of how they know that they are in our thoughts more. So speaking from our loved ones in spirit, how they know that they are in our thoughts more this time of the year. I did receive a download earlier this week about, and it was referred to as this season as being as a time of being nostalgic that we are. And they see that we are more nostalgic this time of the year collectively. Of course, each of us have personal birthdays and anniversaries that cause us to be so as well. I do feel a sense from them as if they know it's kind of magnified this time of the year, or more people are experiencing different types of grief, maybe just not getting to be with their loved ones around the holidays. And I definitely am aware that they are aware of that, and that there's a greater collective energy that may be more nostalgic this year than maybe has ever been. So I know I'm definitely aware of that. And on a more personal level, they know, when mom's putting the personalized ornament up for her baby girl, when brother's friend donated a stocking to someone in his name, like those are the types of messages I definitely receive more this time of the year. And I know they're very aware of that. On the same token, as much as they love us being like, or maybe the flip side of the coin, I should say, as much as they love us, what we do for them, and they understand that this can, be a sad time too. They see that it can kind of put us in a place where we're thinking about the past so much that we're forgetting they're present with us here today. So they seem to have a message of balance with that, and like us staying focused on balancing both of those things.
I love that, because one of the messages that's just been coming through me as of late is this moment is the point of power. Life occurs in the present moment. Life occurs in this moment. Life does not occur in the past. It doesn't occur in an unlived future. And our beloveds are accessible to us in the here and now. So when I can consciously be present, they're available. They're available. So I love that.
Yes, I do too. And they like us, connecting, their items that they loved, their just memories. They love us connecting to them now through the memories. But they seem to relay a message too of us taking care, not allowing our thoughts to spiral to a place, when we don't need to be there anymore, or kind of maybe for lack of a better word, getting stuck in that place that we forget that they're here with us in the present moment.
I also think that by visiting the past, that can connect me to incredible gratitude, incredible happiness, incredible joy. I mean, that can really, really raise my vibrational level. Or the opposite. I mean, I can spiral down, 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 down. And it's my choice. I can either move in the direction of pain or I can move in the direction of peace.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And I feel like spirit definitely agrees with that.
I want to ask you this. I know the answer, but I don't think we can say it enough. Are our beloveds missing us and yearning for us and aching for us this holiday season? Are they in incredible pain because they feel like they're missing out?
No, because they're with us in the same way that our memories connect us to them. Like it brings them into our space, and they're here with us regardless. But especially this time of the year, brothers playing with little brother with the train track around the Christmas tree, like right there, they're right here with us. So they don't express longing for us. They seem to be they're very much aware that that's our experience, and they seem to be very sensitive to that. And sometimes it's a challenge putting this into words, but they definitely make a strong point about not missing us, but trying to be sensitive to us when they express that, because sometimes people maybe are in a space where they want to believe that their loved one misses them. And so it may sound insensitive to a person here to say, he's saying he doesn't miss you. but it's true. They can't miss us. They can't attach to pain. It's kind of like, they're up here and the pain is down here. So they're not in a space where they're able to attach to any sort of pain or longing.
But I think the rest of that statement is they are not missing us because they are with us.
Yes.
That's the rest of it. It's like, how can they miss us when they are right here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The separation is on our end, and it's really an illusion, like from our perspective, but it's just natural that we live in this dense world and we have so many things that, come in between or interfere with us always being aware of their presence. We definitely can have moments, where we feel them very close to us. And in those moments, we realize, oh, they're closer than they ever were. But that's their experience all the time. Whereas it's our experience maybe in fleeting moments or short periods of time.
And don't you think that with conscious effort, those times when we are aware of their presence can grow and grow and grow?
Yes. Yes. With conscious effort and healing on our end.
Well, I for me personally, that awareness in itself is healing.
Yes. 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 It's kind of hard to separate that, isn't it?
Yeah. And Rachel, as we increase that connection with our loved ones, and let me know if this question makes sense, but do they receive that joy, or are they always just joyous? Does it make them happier when we feel so connected, when we in our human bodies feel that I really, really know that my loved one is close? Does that make sense? Or are they always living in that space? Does it bring them additional joy? Or
it's kind of like, that's a great question. So I kind of just sent a thought like, okay, you guys help me with this one.
Yeah.
So if they're giving me the phrase, like they like that we're joining them in that space. It's like we're joining them in that space. So, you can imagine like, your child, spouse, loved one, and invite you to go on a vacation or to an amusement park or something that's really fun, and we can choose to go there or we can choose to stay home, right? And so they see it, they're definitely, because they have this bond with us, there is this sense of them really being, I want to say, proud of us. In a sense, it's kind of like, as we're all parents here speaking, as we would feel about our children, it's like, I feel that sense of pride from them. Like, yay, you're joining me here now, Mom. You're joining me here, Dad. That makes sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
I have shared that so many times, that imagine that the roles are actually reversed, that in the way that you loved your child, now your child gets to be the parent, your child gets to be the guide, your child is wisdom. So yeah, I love that.
Yes, absolutely. I received that again this morning, Tom. Same here. I feel like they use that as an analogy so much.
And I think it's really, really important, but it's understandable that we don't put human qualities and human characteristics on these spirits. We're the human, we're limited by our humanness. They are not. They're free of that.
Exactly. And we have to discern. I have to do this every day in my work and try to communicate. This is how they have to relay this to me. That makes it concrete, but it's really the meaning behind this. Like, how does this make you feel? It's sort of like saying, Rory is so proud of you, Dad. Like, but you can't disappoint him where he
Yes.
is. He's all supported.
Right.
He's the parent now. But they like us thinking, they try to give us what helps us to think of it this way. This is as close as I can come to relaying that,
Yeah. To me, it's like, it's like I'm the 2-year-old and Rory's going, take another step, take another step.
Yes.
Come on, Daddy, you can walk. I'll make sure you don't fall. That's a way for me to try to comprehend what's going on.
Yes, exactly.
But in the same way that if my child fell, I'm not going to be disappointed in the child. Oh, come on. You're okay. It's going to be okay. The next step.
Absolutely, Tom. And that just fits so perfectly with kind of the download I received about this, and how early on, those human characteristics, they serve as points of validation to help people believe, to open the door to know that they are alive and that they are well. So especially when someone's loved one's death is very recent, and they're struggling with, ideas that we've all been given that are just false, about death and grief and all of this, and trying to wrap their mind around something that the human mind can never fully comprehend, but that the human traits will prove to them that they're here, but they are so much more than that now. And they really seem to like when we step into that space where we're able to accept them guiding us now, and the voice of wisdom that they may be, that may be quite a bit different from what we remember of them as being here, but it does require us coming to, I don't like the term of acceptance so much, but getting to a place in our own healing of kind of shedding and letting go to be able to embrace the new relationship, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a process.
Absolutely. And even if the child was 18 months when they left their body, or if they were 3 days old when they left their body, that wisdom is still available to them and to us through them.
Yes, I absolutely agree, Tom. In fact, sometimes I think that the younger a child is when they pass, or even somebody who they're not lost, but say a miscarriage, pregnancy loss, that they can be our greatest guides, our greatest teachers.
Oh, I have come to believe, and it's a choice, that those are old souls. Those are old souls, and their message is love, and expansion.
Yes, I absolutely believe that they did not need to stay for as long as we have needed to stay
right
here.
And it's like, okay, all right, I'll help Mom and Dad, I'll help my brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with the time that we have left, 2020 is closing and 2021 is dawning before our very, very eyes. From a spirit point of view, what might be helpful for us to think about, to hold, to ponder as we, in a way, say goodbye and begin to co-create this new, what I think could be the most exciting year that humanity has ever experienced?
Yes, yes. And what I get from spirit is that there are many parallels going on between like what's happening in the world and with many of us who have experienced the death of a loved one, and that kind of process of like letting go of what doesn't serve us and looking for the lessons in it instead of like resisting it. And there are many lessons in that this year has held for many of us, in that surrendering to what we thought we had control of. So it's definitely a good time. I think Christmas Eve, Tom, and going into the new year, I think it's important. I feel like it's important from spirit for us to take that time and reflect upon, what lessons have we learned, whether it's somebody who their loved one died this year from COVID or otherwise, or, there's been like the collective grief, and a lot of people, maybe it's hit harder, people who haven't experienced the most painful lessons as some of us have in surrendering. And maybe it's that their first time of really going, wow, this is like, the world does not exist as I thought it did. So there's grief. And I think there's lessons for humanity and in what we have learned, or what we can reflect on and learn, and being compassionate and understanding that grief isn't, just this or just that, or there, I know that you believe, Tom, and this is a message that I've heard you share as well, but grief isn't, there's like job loss, there's just, people just not getting to be with their families during the holidays. But I tell you, one thing that's coming to me right now is that we can also learn, we can take the lessons we have learned from the death of our loved ones and be more compassionate to people who are just mourning, not getting to be with their loved ones at Christmas. And a few days ago, I was in a conversation and somebody brought up, and it was somebody who had experienced the death of a very close loved one, expressing kind of anger, hearing people say things or postings on Facebook about, complaining about not getting to be with their loved ones this Christmas. And this person was saying how, well, they don't know what it's like. You should be happy. You should be glad. But what Spirit's giving me now is like, we can like flip that. We can look at, okay, what did we appreciate people saying or not saying to us, and even that we can fall into the comparison game with that. Because say, well, you didn't experience death. You get to see your family again next year. But I don't think, they don't like us doing the comparison in any context. And we can actually, dig a little deeper and go, like we appreciate it. And just as an example for me, I appreciated when people did not say, get over it, or, or just, these phrases that people will use that imply like we shouldn't be complaining or we shouldn't be whining or this kind of thing. And, I think about like, I went through a divorce very early in life. And at that point in my life, that was the most traumatic thing that had ever happened to me. And if somebody had said to me, well, get over it, you haven't lost a child, that would have been very hurtful. So I think just comparison, I think this can serve to unite us all, for maybe people who haven't experienced the death of a loved one and are separated from their families this Christmas. This can be a lesson in helping them to be more compassionate toward people who have been, as much as we would believe here from a human perspective, permanently, separated by death, which we know is not permanent. But, and on the other hand, we who have experienced the death of a loved one can be compassionate toward people and understanding that maybe the worst that they have ever gone through is losing the job, and that type of thing. But also knowing that grief is grief, and we can what we share with them can create pain as you say, Tom, or peace, right? But one thing too, I want to bring a point that I want to make, Tom, is I consciously disengaged from that conversation because I didn't want to go there, because I knew that I could go there with them. And, you know, as both of you, I caught you guys talking about as I was coming on, what we focus on, you know, what we place our focus on is so important. So I actually experienced peace that day because I did not engage in that conversation.
Yes. So sometimes the gift that we give ourselves is no. I'm not going there. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and we can choose not to engage. And moving forward into 2021, I definitely feel a sense of excitement, kind of follow up by this, you know, valuable time that we want to take to reflect upon lessons that we have learned this year. But definitely a sense of excitement going into 2021. And hopefully, of course, everyone has a choice, but and how they perceive this year, and if they choose to glean lessons from it or stay in a place of resistance to it. But all of us, all of humanity has been giving an opportunity to that can make us more compassionate toward each other and more empathetic and really more understanding of grief.
And more compassionate and more understanding to ourselves.
Yes, yes, yes. Opportunities to say no and opportunities to say yes.
You said something interesting. I mean, I talk about this too, but I want to ask you this. What do you think? What you said is that what most of us have probably learned is how little we actually have control of. What do you believe that we actually do have control of? What do we have control of?
How we respond, how we cope, how we choose to move forward in life. And Tom, this ties really well into like the download I had received about experiencing the death of our loved ones and them on the other side and how they help us. And in the beginning, it's very much like parents with babies, like, you know, wanting to be close to us, really wanting us to know that they are alive and well and they are with us. And then they can, if we accept that and we choose to focus on that, we can move into a space of like, you know, they're holding our hand and we can and enjoy happiness again. We can enjoy the holidays again. And Tom, you helped me with this and so many people with this in your first book and in your holiday program. But with this message of we are living with them, you know, we're not leaving them behind. And that was a big thing. I had a really, really difficult New Year's Eve, 2015, the first one after Perry died, and just like crying nonstop for a couple of days because I really was mourning this feeling of leaving him behind. Even though I knew I'd had, you know, spiritual experiences with him, connections, I still was mourning so much. And I still had so many programmed beliefs and thoughts and about grief and death that I was still shedding. So it was a very painful time. And I had experience of going to a bank on Christmas Eve because I had to make a deposit. And I was just crying and talking to Perry, and I'm so sorry that you don't get to be here. And I'm so sorry that you don't get to experience it, even if it's here in the physical body. And I know you're still here, but I really was mourning so deeply. And I got to the bank parking lot and I heard his voice in my head and I heard, "Don't leave behind." And at first I thought, is he saying don't leave me behind? Like that kind of thing. I go into the bank, I make my deposit, and I come out and I look for my phone. I still need a GPS to get around because my grief brain was really bad and we had just moved there a few months prior. And I go and my phone's not with me. And I had left my phone behind.
Oh, wow.
So here for days, Tom, I have been consumed with these thoughts of like leaving him behind. And this morning of this, and then I didn't even remember, probably in the state I was in because of that, like putting my phone down on the counter when I was making my deposit. I didn't even remember taking my phone out. But I went back and got my phone. But what he did is he brought me to the present moment with him. You know, he brought me to the present moment with him. And I'm not even sure if this answers your question or why I'm talking about this, but and that really
perfect.
No, I love that. I love that. He brought you to the present moment with him, and where he's available to you.
Yeah, and it was really brilliant because my mind was thinking, oh, I'm leaving him behind, but he's using my phone. He's
Right,
like, no,
right.
your phone is in there. I'm right here with you.
Yes. And for us now, as 2020 is melding into 2021, as long as I'm in this moment, as long as I'm in this moment, as long as I'm in this moment, so is he, so is he, so is he.
Yes, yes. It's just the process that we go through of healing and becoming more accepting of this new relationship, you know. And if I could say one more thing, Tom, about that, it's like they can take us to this place then of, okay, and again, you know, it's process of shedding and mourning and that and coming into this space. But I do believe too, if people are listening to this and they're going, yes, I get this, because you guys both get this, you know, you know that your kids, your loved ones in spirit are here with you. And yes, I get this, but I also want to kind of maybe challenge or ask those people to stay curious going into 2021 about spiritual growth beyond that. You know, they've brought you to this place, and this is miraculous because, you know, we can live with joy, and when we never, at one time, we didn't think we'd be able to. But I want to challenge you, or just to leave you with, ask yourself going into 2021, can I continue to grow spiritually, right? Like, where can they take me to? Like, maybe they can take me to a place, like now we're holding hands, but maybe there's a place of a space where we're co-creating together, where, you know, they're standing back saying, that's my mom, that's my dad, I'm so proud. And we're living more in that space of actually co-creation. And many of us believe in the idea of co-creation, but to actually live more in that space in 2021, I think is a beautiful goal or something to aspire to. And it just begins with curious. Your card, Tom. Stay curious.
Curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'm all for expanding my awareness, my ability to co-create with my beloveds. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I am
And
in.
one more thing, Tom, is I really think that your third book, and you guys listening or watching, like, Tom hasn't shared contents with his book with me, but I know, I feel this, that your third book is really going to help people move into that space. And so this entire download that I received of this progression, I didn't realize till after the fact, and Spirit kind of connected the dots before I came out. Oh yeah, that's your first book, your second book, and here's your third book. So anyway, I just kind of had to put that out there too.
So Rachel, you are a fascinating human being. I love that Perry brought us together when he did. And I love that as I've grown, as I've expanded, I've got to experience the same in you. How can people get a hold of you, learn more about you?
Oh, thank you, Tom. So I have a website, rachelpearson.net. And there I talk about more about how I work with my services and the services I offer. And then I have a web page, Rachel Pearson Spirit Messenger, where I share just inspiration, sometimes, you know, stories from connections and sessions and things like that. So,
any final thoughts, Jessica?
I'm just so grateful for you sharing this connection, and then also offering that one, that it exists and it's concrete, and then giving people hope that they can grow with their loved ones and co-create and expand. For me, it's a message of positivity and hope, especially moving into 2021.
oh, thank you, Jessica.
I'm grateful for you.
Oh,
For those
thank you. I'm grateful
for those of you that are meeting Rachel for the first time, I've had several conversations with her. So look around on my YouTube channel. There's one that I posted on my Facebook page where you were camping. That is probably my all-time favorite conversation that you and I have had, because we talked about really, really important stuff like the devil and evil spirits and do Muslims go to heaven, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Yes.
so look for that.
I love that too.
For those of you that are concerned because maybe you're going to be alone tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central via Zoom, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did on Thanksgiving. We're going to have a Zoom gathering. It is open to absolutely everybody. We're going to do a simple candle lighting ceremony to honor, thank, remember those people that we love who left their physical bodies. In order to get that Zoom link, you have to subscribe to my newsletter. So go to tomzuba.com, subscribe to the newsletter. I'll send the newsletter out one more time tomorrow morning with the Zoom link. Love, love, love to have you join us. Rachel, I look forward to spending 2021 with you.
Oh, likewise, Tom.
And seeing what we will co-create together.
Yes. Very, very exciting.
Merry Christmas to you and your family. Jessica, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank
Merry
you
Christmas,
everyone
both
for
of you.
being with us. We will see you next Thursday, 11 a.m.